What if the most iconic hero in Gotham never existed? Imagine a city without its dark night, where the shadows aren't merely fought, but consume everything. We're re-diving deep into a terrifying alternate reality where Bruce Wayne's tragic past led to a very different future for Gotham, and it's far darker than you can imagine. You know the story, a vow made in a dark alley, a hero forged in tragedy. But what if that vow was never made? Picture this: Crime Alley. A young Bruce Wayne, his world shattered by the loss of his parents. But instead of channeling his grief into a promise, he simply walks away. The trauma remains, but the spark of vengeance, the seed of justice, never ignites. He grows up haunted, but not driven. This is the genesis of Gotham's descent. Without Batman, the immense Wayne fortune, a potential engine for change, remains a sleeping giant. Bruce, adrift in his own sorrow, might try philanthropy, throwing money at problems. But it's like putting a band-aid on a gaping wound. Without the direct, hands-on intervention of a protector, Gotham's infrastructure, both physical and moral, begins to crumble. The Wayne Foundation builds a new hospital wing, but crime syndicates control who gets treated. Wayne Enterprises funds new housing, but gangs turn it into their stronghold. The money is there, but the will, the symbol, is absent. At first, the decay is subtle, a rise in petty theft, muggings, becoming more common. But without a looming, unifying symbol of justice, without the whispered myth of a creature of the night hunting criminals, there is nothing to sow fear in the hearts of those who prey on the innocent. Minor crimes escalate, gangs become bolder. The slow burn of despair begins to creep into the very soul of the city. The police can't be everywhere, and soon they aren't even trying to be. Now, let's talk about the Rogues Gallery. What happens to them when their greatest adversary is a complete non-entity? Let's start with the clown. Without Batman's psychological counter, the Joker's nihilism finds a new, terrifying expression. He isn't just an agent of chaos anymore, he's the king of it. Perhaps he doesn't just want to prove a point. He wants to build an empire on absurdity and fear. Imagine a Joker who organizes crime not for profit, but for the punchline, turning entire city districts into elaborate, deadly games. His brand of madness becomes a structured, terrifying criminal enterprise, a cult of chaos with no one to stand in its way. And what about the Riddler? Edward Nygma's genius-level intellect goes completely unchallenged. His puzzles are no longer a game of wits with the world's greatest detective. They become tools for widespread panic and extortion. Imagine a citywide blackout triggered by an unsolved riddle, or a hospital's life support systems held hostage by a complex cipher, with no one to outsmart him. The Riddler becomes a new kind of digital and intellectual terrorist, proving his superiority not to one man, but to an entire, helpless city. Then there's Harvey Dent. His fall from grace is even more tragic. In our world, Batman was there to offer a glimmer of hope, to appeal to the man he once was. But in this timeline, there's no one. When the acid scars his face, there is no dark night to challenge his twisted duality. Two-Face rises unchecked, his coin-flip justice becoming law in the territories he controls. His ambition isn't just about crime, it's about imposing his own broken sense of order on a city that has none. He might even become a legitimate, though terrifying, political power. His two-faced persona, a perfect metaphor for Gotham's own shattered identity. With villains running rampant, what happens to the city's institutions? The Gotham City Police Department is fighting a losing battle. Commissioner Gordon, a good man in a city that's forgotten the meaning of the word, becomes a tragic, isolated figure. He's a general with no army. His best officers are either picked off, corrupted, or simply quit. The GCPD either descends into utter helplessness, becoming a mere cleanup crew for the mob, or it becomes just another gang, extorting and brutalizing citizens for its own survival. The bat signal is never built, its rooftop gathering dust. A forgotten space where a beacon of hope was never needed because the concept of hope itself died. This power vacuum allows organized crime to flourish like never before. The old mob families, like the Moronis and the Falcones, who were once challenged by Batman, now consolidate their power. They carve Gotham into fiefdoms, each with its own rules, its own brutal enforcers. The streets become a chessboard for mob wars, with civilians caught in the crossfire. Going from one neighborhood to another is like crossing a hostile border. Gotham isn't a city anymore. It's a collection of warring states ruled by gangsters and supercriminals. And where is Bruce Wayne in all of this? He's trapped in a gilded cage. His immense wealth becomes a burden, a constant reminder of the power he has but doesn't know how to wield. He lives in Wayne Manor, a fortress of solitude, but not one of purpose. Perhaps he succumbs to cynicism, becoming a reclusive Howard Hughes-like figure, paranoid and detached. Or maybe he dives into a life of hedonism, a billionaire playboy trying to numb his childhood trauma with endless parties and fleeting distractions, completely oblivious to the rot consuming his birthright. His attempts at philanthropy are futile, his money a drop in an ocean of despair. He is a king with no kingdom, a man with all the resources to be a savior, but none of the will. He is the ultimate symbol of Gotham's failure, potential that was never realized. What about the other characters we know and love? Their paths become twisted and darkened. Consider Selina Kyle. Without Batman as a moral anchor, a foil who saw the good in her, Catwoman's moral compass is completely lost. She's not a playful anti-hero anymore. She's a purely self-serving thief, a master survivor in a city of monsters. She steals not for the thrill, but to live another day, her skills honed by a world with no safety nets. She becomes colder, harder, another predator in Gotham's concrete jungle. And what of Dick Grayson? In this world, his parents still meet their tragic end, but there's no compassionate Bruce Wayne to take him in. He never gets the chance to become Robin. He never finds his purpose. Best case scenario, he's a talented but aimless young man, perhaps using his acrobatic skills for petty crime, another lost soul in the system. Worst case, he becomes another casualty of Gotham, another life snuffed out before it could truly begin. But the hope that Nightwing represents is a light that was never even switched on. Is there any hope left at all? Perhaps a few glimmers. You might see a desperate citizens' militia rise up, like the one led by Leslie Tompkins, trying to protect their own small corner of the city. But they are outgunned and outnumbered. They are farmers with pitchforks against a modern army. Their heroism is tragic because it's doomed to fail. The more chilling realization is that perhaps in this Gotham there is simply no hope left to find. But the city has passed a tipping point from which it can never recover. Ultimately, this brings us to the true cost of a missing hero. It's not just about unchecked crime. It's the psychological toll on every single citizen. Fear, apathy, and the normalization of extreme violence become the daily reality. People don't look up at the sky hoping for a savior. They keep their heads down, hoping to not be noticed. Children aren't told stories of a dark night. They're taught which streets to avoid and which gang colors mean certain death. Gotham becomes a living, breathing cautionary tale, a story of how a city can truly die from within when its defining protector, its symbol of resilience, never rises. The final, haunting image of this reality is the Gotham skyline. The bat signal never cuts through the night. Instead, there's just a permanent shroud of industrial smog and despair, a silent testament to the crushing weight of one man's choice, and a chilling reminder of how much difference one person can truly make. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into a darker Gotham. What do you think would be the biggest change in a world without Batman? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this alternate reality, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into your favorite universes. We'll see you in the next one.